It's race day number 2 at the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship here in Le Mans, France, and race number 3 of this weekend is just about to get started. But we managed to come over to the fan village because it's really crowded over here. A lot of fans are coming here because you can also buy some more merchandise. A lot of ETRC is walking around indeed, and also we have lovely sponsors and partners that go along with the championship. I will show you one of them in a second, but beforehand I'm handing over to Just Record, our lovely commentator.
Thank you, Lena. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Sunday here at Le Mans on the wonderful Bugatti circuit, and welcome to race number 3 of the weekend. We've had a very exciting time so far here in France and lots of action already under our belts. We're excited to see what the second day has in store. There's a number of different storylines that we need to get to, but first, as Lena has rightly mentioned, we've got a lot of lovely partners in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. One of them recently that's come on board for the last few seasons has been Joost, and she's been catching up with some of the wonderful people there and some of the drivers that are involved in that partnership as well.
Second year being a partner of Sascha Lenz, of course. So what does it mean to you to have a very strong partner by your side in the racing?
Yeah, for us it's really important that we have a so big partner on the side from us. I'm really happy. We have a really good contact together, and we have a lot of ideas what we do for the next years, and yeah, I'm really happy.
You also are in the truck business kind of in normal life, so does this also help you maybe in your normal life?
Yeah, for sure, the new KKS system, or really new system, it's really important and make it really easy the job to disconnect the trailer and connect the trailer. So yeah, I think Joost make a brilliant job in this point, and the camera system from the truck what you have on the KKS system we have on the race truck for the back view camera. So yeah, it's really good.
See, both worlds are uniting. And Christine, you have been in Nürburgring, now you're here in Le Mans, and as we can tell, there's a lot of action going on. So what's the brand news for your fans out there? What can they discover?
We are here with our comfort coupling system, the Joost KKS, and yeah, it means no climbing, no cranking, and you can the connection is made easily. You can monitor it in the screen in the cab. It's with an it's very easy, and all the electrical air and brake connections are connecting automatically. And our newest developments for the KKS are for refrigerated trailer, because when you couple a refrigerated trailer, there's even less space, and so it saves so much time and money. And another development is our KKS 80. It's for terminal tractor on ports and yards for more autonomous driving.
Oh, for yards as well. I hope you heard that one. So yesterday you did a very good job in the race, got some trophies home. So I think that's good for the both of you. Are you celebrating together then?
Yeah, for sure. We have not only the camera system on the truck, so we drive with the brake pads, the blue brake pads from Joost. I'm really happy. The brakes is phenomenal, and yeah, I'm really happy for this partnership.
What's your outcome for this race weekend? Are you still collecting points in your heads? Like, do you have any aim to go for?
You know, look the beginning, the start from the season, and then after the Nürburgring, the first race was a Moss that we make a really good step in the summertime. I'm really happy. We look now from race to race. Clear on your head, you have the points every time, what Steffi have, what I have. So in this moment it's only 2. So, and I hope I can go after the weekend with P3 home.
So 2 very smart partners found each other, and there's a race to come. Thank you to the both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lena, and thank you, Joost, for being a partner of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and also Sascha Lenz as well, as we heard from him. Very happy to have them on board as a partner. But we look forward now to today's racing, and in saying that, funnily enough, we'll also have another quick look back at yesterday's racing and just see how we got to this point of the weekend. Let's have a look at some highlights from yesterday's 2 races. The conditions were, well, low lit straight off the bat. as we raced on into the evening here at Le Mans. And it would soon be lights ablaze, and after a red flag in the first start of the race, we would then be delayed slightly into even more of an evening setting. It was beautiful. We had Louis Requenco and Mark Taylor unfortunately making contact up at turn 1, and the race would be red flagged as Mark's truck had to be towed away. It could unfortunately not get back away under its own power. Louis Requenco would rejoin the race after his damage was repaired. They put a new bumper bar on the back end of the truck, but it wasn't the last time that we would see Louis in the wars in this race. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez had a spin, bouncing off the likes of Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm. Steffi would hold on to second position though, while Antonio would race away in the middle of the pack, eventually going on to finish in 6th place for the second time in one day. It was René Reinert from pole position, though, and he was ahead of Steffi Halm, ahead of Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kisch and Sascha Lenz, while in the background it was the Chrome class that were once again fighting brilliantly. Clemens Hecker and Stefan Kirsch having a good old scrap here, with the Reeds involved as well, while Jose Eduardo Rodriguez made his own way through. I mentioned Louis Requenco. He did a great impression of a trailer by clinging to the back of Stefan Kirsch's truck into the later moments, and Steffi Halm defended like mad from Jochen Hahn, who was also trying to play the team game ahead of Norbert Kisch, and the chase down on René Reinert into the last moments of the race was absolutely fantastic. René would hold on at the very front though in his big blue MAN, and he would take his 3rd race win of the season from Steffi Halm and Jochen Hahn. It's only the 3rd time this season that we haven't seen Norbert Kisch on the podium. We're going to have a look at the grid though, because obviously qualifying took place just earlier this morning, and this is how qualifying finished. A bit more of a formal grid compared to what we saw yesterday. Yesterday it was a very mixed up grid, but it's Norbert Kisch on pole position once again, with Jochen Hahn in 2nd place and Sascha Lenz in 3rd. My usual 1-2-3 positions, 1-2-3. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez 4th ahead of Antonio Albacete. He's joining Steffi Halm on the 3rd row of the grid. René Reinert will then line up alongside Louis Requenco on the 4th row. Louis the fastest in the Chrome class on this occasion. Mark Taylor starting 9th alongside his countryman John Newell. Those two will start together on the 5th row. And then it's an all-German 6th row with Clemens Hecker starting alongside Stefan Fast. It's been great to see Stefan back out on circuit. Stefan Fast, we call him. And he has managed to get himself onto the 6th row. Importantly, ahead of Bradley Smith, who does lead the Chrome Championship coming into this race, but it could very quickly change around. Luke Garrett joins him on the 7th row. A bit more about Luke in just a moment after that failure yesterday. Simon and Craig Reed make it an all-British 8th row. And then another all-German 9th row of the grid with Stefan Kirsch and Christian Ruppert completing a full 18-truck field for us here this weekend. Just to clarify then, in the overall championship, it's obviously one hand on the trophy for Norbert Kisch at present. And I think that he has got a rather easy job here today. He's won every race 1 and 3 so far this season, that being the first race of each day. And he just needs to finish ahead of Jochen Hahn, basically, in this one to secure that. The two of them are on the front row of the grid, but Jochen has got to score a bunch more points than Norby to flip it around. After this race, there will only be 70 points available. And right now, Norbert Kisch is 84 clear. There's the 100% renewable HVO shark fin, or branded shark fin. Total Energy's wonderful shark fin that they have on these trucks. All of them will be adorned with it. But yes, the championship is almost wrapped up by Norby, and we'll be catching up with him in a little bit. For the moment, I'm going to go quiet while we welcome our international TV spectators from around the world. We're going to switch over to the live feed there, and we'll be back in a moment, and we'll continue on the show. So just stand by, and we'll be right back.
Jour de Le Mans de France and the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship race day number 2, and the third race of this weekend is about to get started, and it might be a historical one. So everyone who's watching, thank you for being a part of this moment, because we have Norbert Kisch in the front row right next to Jochen Hahn, of course, who really did his best in qualifying, making sure he just stays super close, but in points today Norbert might be the one driving away, which might make him the 7-time European champion in truck racing and the only 7-time European truck champion. So let's see how his team is doing. If they're already excited, we can have a look over there. They seem to be both very calm. How are the both of you doing? Are you excited, or is it a normal day as every day?
It's a normal day, but I'm always excited. You know, it's a technical sport. I always say that. I'm always worried for the technique. I have full trust in my driver, but with the truck, I'm always worried a bit.
Same thing. I already saw that there's the Hungarian flag that might be waved very soon. How are you feeling right now, Norbert?
Yeah, feeling good, you know. I think very good weekend so far. And like usual, we try to do the best we can. We are here on pole position again, try to have a good start, try to win the race. And if it happens, then we also close the championship, which is, you know, will be nice.
I have a feeling we just let this whole race happen as is, and then we will see from there. But everyone is like, it might happen. So let's see how this story goes. Thank you so much and good luck to you. Enjoy the maybe last time being the 6th-time European champion in Le Mans. So yeah, look at that. They already bought the flags. The team is already there, ready to cheer later on. But we also have Jochen, and I told you, he's never giving up on anything. He really is fighting. And so are the others in the back. We have José Eduardo Rodriguez, who did a good job today. And also we have Sasha, who managed to go on podium yesterday. So it will not be a boring race. And Le Mans already showed yesterday that there's a lot of bumping and kicking and elbows out and destroying trucks and what's so not going on. Jochen, how are you feeling right now? Good to see you again. Go have your drink first.
I feel very confident. First row, Diana's birthday, you know. My plan is to make a present for her today.
Aha, so his wife has birthday. Happy birthday to you, Diana. The age we will not talk about, we will celebrate it. And maybe you're eager to bring a trophy home to your wife again, which I think he is on. And yeah, Le Mans really, it doesn't look like it. Look up there. It looks really wide, but this first corner, it goes slightly uphill. It's getting narrow. If you have big trucks that are all trying to squeeze together in one corner, mark my words, once the race is starting, and I will walk down the aisle a little bit with you, but of course we also have Chess Draycott, our commentator in the house, and he will explain some more to you until the race will be starting.
Thank you very much, Lena. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday here at Le Mans, the fantastic Bugatti circuit and the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Beautiful conditions, the sun is shining, and everybody is excited to see what the day holds. A bit of battle scars on our trucks ahead of today, and as you can see, a little bump and scrape here and there on Antonio Albacetti's truck after a busy day for him and T-Sport Bernal yesterday. Some wonderful stitching from the zip ties. And we'll have a look at the circuit itself, shall we? We'll have a look at the track map of this great racetrack where we are competing today. Everybody knows of the Le Mans La Sarthe circuit, obviously from the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but not all know the Bugatti circuit. It sort of takes the infield section from the main start-finish straight. And they have lots of tight and twisty corners here. Chapelle, Musée, and Garage Vert are very difficult corners in the first half of the lap. Garage Vert actually a double apex right-hander in these trucks. They go in quite early at the apex, run wide partway through the corner, and then try and get a slingshot on the exit. The last few corners as well, Garage Bleu and Raccord at the end of the lap, they are very flowing corners, right and then left, and then hard onto the brakes into the last corner, which joins up to the Ford chicanes from the 24-hour layout of this circuit. And right there is where we see a number of overtaking opportunities. We raced on long into the evening yesterday, but now we're going to have our 2 races today in much more bright conditions. It's not quite as warm as it was yesterday, actually. It was 24 degrees at 6 p.m. yesterday. But I think with the low wind here today, it's not really bringing much hot air over. Let's go back down to the grid, though, and see what Lena's got to say.
I have a very funny word game. It's not Steffen Fast, it's Steffen Fast today, because finally his truck is running again. I think you might have heard that one a lot of times. How long was your changing the engine yesterday, and how does the truck feel today? Congratulations for being back on track finally.
Yes, we have not so much work. We was on 3 hours for change the engine, but we have small parts we must change from the old engine to the new engine, and this was a little bit more time, but was a great job from the team, and thank you for this to back on the track.
Yeah, I really hope for you that you finally can finish a race, because once this one runs, it's a very good job you're doing. So let's not talk any further. Let's let you have your race. But we also have another one in the field, talking about Luke Garrett and his turbo explode. I don't know, there was so much braking on the around the engine, and he needed a new gearbox, and I don't know what's or not. So all the teams decided to help along last night. I heard they were fixing the truck till 4 in the morning all together. It's the one truck family. And Luke, I heard half the one truck family is like being a part of this truck now. How are you feeling, and did you catch some sleep after 4 a.m.?
Yeah, we managed to get 2 or 3 hours sleep, but I'm very grateful for everyone's help last night, because it was looking like we were possibly not coming out today. So obviously very grateful to all the 3 teams that really helped us.
I really cross my fingers for all of you. You and Steffen, I think you're the both we want to see at the finish line for sure. So let's knock 3 times on this one over there. And yeah, the turbo, you know, it has a lot of torque. It's sitting here, and they have a special security system in the exhaust, because once this one is braking, it hits through everything. So let's hope this will not happen again. The engines are starting, everything is set, and this is a go for Chess. Let's do the race.
Thank you, Lena. Fantastic to hear from Luke Garrett just for a moment there. And yeah, we had the news yesterday that as part of the One Truck family, there were multiple teams helping them out. Tim Frost from T-Sport Bernau, Jochen Hahn as well, and also the Rodriguez family too. They were all helping until 4 a.m. to get that truck back out today. It's great to see it. There's no real other sort of major forms of motorsport where you'd see that, you know, so many other teams helping to make sure that we are not a competitor down for the following day. Here is the Ford F-Max with May Fisher at the wheel. The F-Max used for our inspection laps around our circuits in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. You could see the rubber marks from behind as May led the truck out of Garage Vert, the double right-hander. And the F-Max is the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's a rather potent machine. It really does get moving. And May puts it through its paces all over Europe at these circuits, and it's a full functioning truck as well as a tractor unit for a lot of the fan village as well. It trails around, or takes around, a lot of the trailers all over Europe to our different events. So it is a truck that is very much widely used. And it's not just here for show, it is fully functioning, and it's great to have it as part of our series. So it's Norbert Kish on the front row of the grid, and like we say, Jochen needs to outscore Norby by 14 points in this race to continue the championship on past this point. But even then, every single race it gets more and more difficult. Thumbs up from the guys. But you can basically get 20 points for winning a race here in the first race of the day, then 15 for second position. So really, for Jochen to outscore Norby, he needs to win this race, with then Norby finishing no better than 7th place. He just needs to score 4 points and the job is done. But he's starting on pole position, and looking at the theme of things so far in 2025, he's won every race 1 and every race 3. So we have got definitely a bit of a tradition for Norby to uphold here. It seems like they can't quite get the gate closed here, which is interesting. I mean, we're quite lucky that we have our camera there to keep an eye on that. I think they're all good now. There we go. That's the sort of wipe of the hands to say, yeah, job done. And here is the official pace truck, the Iveco S E-Way 100% electric truck from Iveco. A lovely machine to have as our pace truck. Iveco, one of the main players in the global transport sector. I'll get that right one day. That blurb will come out of my mouth in the correct order. They have established a global presence on the world stage as a manufacturer and commercial provider in the most important industrialized countries and emerging markets all over the globe. And it's lovely to have the support of Iveco and such great presence from them as well in the paddock. It's lovely to see them all over the series itself, not just in the racing, but of course behind the scenes. Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn then, at the start of this race, 12 championship titles between them. It could be 13 in just about 25 minutes time. Sasha Lenz starts third on the grid, another great qualifying from him. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez going really well round here at Le Mans. We then have Antonio Albacete alongside Steffi Halm. She's hoping to get back into third place and hold on to it ahead of Sasha Lenz in the championship, as Sasha is now only 2 points back. René Reinert 7th after taking his race victory yesterday. He's ahead of Louis Requenco, who is the fastest driver in qualifying from the Chrome class. Mark Taylor and John Newell both doing really well in qualifying as well. They will start on the next row of the grid, side by side. Mark had 2 DNFs yesterday, so he needs the points. Clemens Hecker needs some points as well. He's 4th in the Chrome Championship now, 21 points off Bradley Smith. He starts alongside Stefan Fass. Bradley having a bit of a difficult start to his day, though, and start to his weekend here with 13th place on the grid. He had a great 6th place yesterday, but clearly not the same today. He's alongside Luke Garrett, with Simon Reed and Craig Reed lining up on the 8th row of the grid together. Great to see the two brothers in their Ivecos back on track. Stefan Kirsch starts in 17th place alongside Christian Ruppert, always with a smile on his face. He's always learning, always getting quicker, is Christian. He spent a lot of time before truck racing in motocross and in sidecar racing as well. So, as I said when he first joined the championship, he's clearly got the right sort of screw loose to come here and do truck racing with us in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. So as you can see, beautiful conditions to start our day. And we should have a beautiful race to start our day as well. Obviously, this being the first of 2 broadcasts that we have today. Our second one yesterday was running a little bit late, unfortunately, but hopefully this time we'll be all good. 20 past 3 local time. 20 past 3 UK time is when the second one is set to go. But right now, we're on the brink of crowning ourselves a record-breaking 7-time champion in the form of Norbert Kirsch. He lines up alongside Jochen Hahn on the front row of the grid. We wait for the lights to go green, and they do now. And round 27 in 2025 gets underway. Looks like a good start from Clemens Hecker in the middle of the pack. He jumps between Mark Taylor and John Newell. I think maybe a little bit of contact between the two as they head up towards turn 1. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez down the inside of Sasha Lenz. Needs to try and cover it off and come over to the left. Whoa, it was Stefan Fass running out very wide over on the left there as they head into the chicane. Looks like everybody gets through cleanly. Louis Requenco, Luke Garrett and Craig Reed, I think that is, having to jump across the inside of the chicane. Look at Louis Requenco up into 5th place as a result, though. He might have to give some of those positions back because he gained them by cutting the corner. René Reinert side by side with Clemens Hecker there. Luke Garrett just in front of Stefan Fass, who has Bradley Smith on his outside, but Bradley is run out wide, hits all the penalty markers. Craig Reed, his countryman, wanting to come through. Antonio Albacete back down the inside of Louis Requenco, and maybe Louis had the word of, come on Louis, you can't cut the chicane and gain places, mate. You can't get away with that one. Antonio down the inside of his compatriot and gets in front. Steffi Halm will also want to gain that position back as well, and she does so down the inside of Garage Vert. Nicely done by Louis Requenco, fair play. René Reinert now finds himself down the inside. John Newell and Mark Taylor side by side as well, but it's Clemens Hecker that's taken the lead in the Chrome class. He must have had an absolute scorcher of a start. And right now it is nose to tail between all of them in the middle of this pack. Look at the train of them heading down towards the final couple of corners. John Newell going this way and that way, trying to find a way around Mark Taylor. And apologies, it of course wasn't Clemens Hecker leading the Chrome class, it was Louis Requenco. Louis' run wide though, and now Clemens around the outside of the left-hander. He's going to jump up into the lead. And there you go, right to the front of the class goes the Scania. Now it's the Iveco getting shouldered out wide, and he loses 3 places in 2 corners. Is it going to be 4 as Luke Garrett comes through on the right-hand side as well? Bradley Smith wants a piece of that as well. They've all had to check up and try and avoid one another, and they end up nearly 3 wide down the start-finish straight. Look at them now, all together. A full rainbow of trucks as Stefan Fass sideways as you like round turn 1 into the chicane. But it's Clemens Hecker leading the way. Mark Taylor second, he needs that. John Newell third. Louis Requenco and Luke Garrett getting very friendly just behind as well. A big elbow in the face of Luke Garrett there from the big green Iveco. And Louis finds himself still in front. The Reeds are now getting involved in this as well. Craig and Simon right behind Bradley Smith. 3 Ivecos line astern. Whoa, hello. Stefan Kirsch having to avoid the trucks in front and had a big old tank slapper. Luke Garrett gets his nose down the inside of Louis Requenco right now. Doesn't get the move done this time round. We've had a fantastic time in the Chrome Championship so far this season. And every single race, it just flips itself on its head again. Bradley Smith, after having such a wonderful day yesterday, a first and then a second. He was on for, well, he finished first on the road in both races, but he got a 10-second penalty for overspeeding that knocked him into second place in class behind John Newell. John with his second and first, while the likes of Mark Taylor and Clemens Hecker had a couple of DNFs at a third place, has actually now moved up into second in the Chrome class. 12 points behind Bradley Smith, and at the moment he's going to close that gap quite quickly. Same with Mark Taylor and Clemens Hecker as well, first and second in class. So this is certainly the bit to watch as we now look towards Antonio Albacete. 5th place for him at the moment in front of Steffi Halm. He's not really had a weekend where he stood out very much as Antonio, unfortunately. He's been a little bit under the radar. He got 2 podiums back at Zolder, 2 third places outright. Well, he's had just 2 6th positions so far this weekend. As the Reeds take down a penalty marker. There's one that the stewards don't have to look far into. But it's Clemens Hecker's Scania running in 8th place, and it's an important 8th place as well, because it means that if he finishes there, he will be on pole position for race number 2, race 4 of the weekend later on this afternoon. And he will be very pleased at the opportunity to start with all those Titan drivers and that big buffer between himself and the other Chrome competitors. That will make his life much easier. They're not starting directly behind him in that case, as we look at Luke Garrett and Stefan Fass in the middle there with Bradley Smith closing in behind. Flying formation between the 2 Reeds. It's been lovely to have them back in the championship again for this weekend here at Le Mans. Craig number 68, Simon number 89, both in identical liveries. I really do love that about them as well, is the fact that in motorsport, when a team has a matching livery like that, it really does sort of add more of a professional look to the team. And I think that these guys are one of the most well-presented teams that we get to see. It's a shame we don't have them with us more often in the European Series, it really is. But you never know. Dipping their toes in the water and hoping for a full run of it for next year. We'll have to see. Either way, their Ivecos are of top-notch quality. I believe at least one of them is an ex-Steffi Halm Iveco. I think maybe the other is an ex-Jochen Hahn one. I'm not quite sure. I know there's a story somewhere of one of them coming from the team. So it's a very well sought after piece of kit. I remember a few seasons ago, unfortunately, Simon ended his British Championship in the wall at Brands Hatch in very dramatic fashion in a very scary incident. And they did an awesome job at rebuilding the truck and getting it back up into fighting form. So after 3 laps then, it's Norbert Kish leading the way, Jochen Hahn in second, Sasha Lenz in third, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez still fourth ahead of Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm. René Reinert runs in 7th place ahead of Clement Ecker, who is currently on for pole position in race 2. Mark Taylor in 9th with John Newell in 10th. Louis Requenco down in 11th place ahead of Luke Garrett, Stefan Faas and Bradley Smith. Currently, Bradley running in 7th place in class. Right now, that will score him just 4 championship points, whereas at the front of the class, Clement Ecker will get 20, so it'll gain him 16 points over Bradley, putting him just 5 behind. Incredible how this is going to flip on its head. In fact, I'm going to sort of do a mock quickly of the current positions and see how it would line them all up in the Chrome Championship after this. And it would put all 4 of them within 6 points. It'd be Bradley leading from 4 points from John, 1 point back to Clement Ecker, then 1 point back to Mark Taylor. How cool is that? Shows you just how close this championship is once again in Chrome. Unfortunately, not the same story in the overall championship in the Titan category, but at present, it's another testament to just how good Norbert Kish and the Reveish Racing team are. And they continue to dominate these race 1s and 3 over a weekend. And it's how they build such a strong campaign for it all. And we've seen many Grand Slams in the past few years. At the very first race meeting of the year, actually, Norbert Kish won all 4 races. He won 3 at the Slovakia Ring. Unfortunately, the 4th race there was cancelled. But even back in 2024, Norby was winning every race. I think he won the first 12 races of the season in 2024. I'm just going to have a quick look. Yeah, he won the first 12 races in 2024. An amazing campaign. But still, the Titan category, as feisty as ever. Big thanks to Joby Evans, by the way. Good mate of mine, and it is Craig Reed's truck that is the ex-Steffi Halm machine. Right now, just looking at the lap times, and it seems like it's quite a stalemate in the Titan class, but Steffi Halm is the one that's sort of pushing forward and trying to get past Antonio Albacete. We have them on our screen right now, and Steffi looks to the inside into Garage Vert. She got the better of Antonio in the 2nd race yesterday, and right now is putting a lot of pressure on. I wonder if some setup changes are needed for the final race of the weekend for the T-Sport Bernau squad. Bradley Smith has gotten ahead of Luke Garrett on this lap. Luke had an unfortunate 2:10 on that previous lap, so he's lost a bit of ground. And the two of them continue on their fight now in the background while we look at Steffi Halm and Antonio Albacete. René Reinert in the mix as well now. We've got 3 drivers at the moment on 2 penalty marker warnings, and unfortunately it's Luke Garrett, Craig Reed and Simon Reed. 2 penalty marker warnings apiece. If they get a 3rd one, they'll get a penalty. So they need to be mighty careful as they continue on. They'll be pushing and pushing as this race gets into its 2nd half to try and make up for anything that they lost in the opening moments, but now they have to really have their wits about them to not go outside of track limits. So it's a bit of a difficult situation to be in, wanting to push further into the race, but also not wanting to push so hard that you overdo it and ruin your race with a penalty. Big slide there from René Reinert as he comes out of the first chicane. He's clearly pushing hard to try and chase down Steffi and Antonio. Norbert Kish at the moment, the only driver in the 205s, 205.5 last time round, as we see another slide by René Reinert. Everybody else in the top 10 setting 206s, 207s. In the mix there's a couple of 208s. Steffi still having a good old look here at Antonio, trying to get the move done. Hope it's a clean one when it comes, and I'm sure it will be, because it'll be powered by 100% renewable HVO diesel, as all of our race trucks are. Sasha Lenz having a bit of a stable race, same as Jose Eduardo Rodriguez as well. They're just powering away, doing what they need to do with their lap times. Looks right now like Antonio just isn't able to push as hard as he'd like to. Maybe the front tyre's just suffering a little bit. We know we'd heard from him before that his front tyres can be quite shredded early on when he likes to push it as well. Rene decides that he definitely doesn't want to hit the penalty marker, but he wants to go way around it. Nicely done, Rene. I'm sure that the race director and the officials will really appreciate that one. Not flattening the penalty marker when he knew that he was going to go off the track. Right now in the Chrome class, though, it is still Clemens Hecker leading Mark Taylor and John Newell. There's another look at Rene. Look, he slides it, runs wide, and he goes, nope, I'll avoid that penalty marker, thank you. Leaves it standing. Very considerate stuff by Rene Reiner. He continues in 7th position. Truck 77, position 7, and now he is, funnily enough, 7/10 back from Steffi Halm. Although that gap has opened up a little bit more in this opening sector as well, so maybe it was from just before that moment. Now it's displaying that he is 1.3 seconds behind Steffi Halm. We'll see how that ticks over as they get through the next sector of the lap. He actually got a penalty marker warning for that as well, did Rene Reiner. That was his first one of the race, though, so not a horrific day in the office so far. You can see the gap back there, though, to Clemens Hecker, Mark Taylor and John Newell. John still right up behind his fellow Brit. And Louis Requenco is not out of the picture either. He's wanting to take advantage of anything if it switches around here, much like their driver numbers do, actually, 81 and 18. But Clemens had a great start, didn't he? Cut through the middle of these guys and has held on to it ever since. We'll see now whether John has the pace in the later stage of the race to catch back up with and overtake Mark Taylor. He's not too far behind him, but it's just a case of reeling in those extra few tenths of a second. As they come around the final couple of corners now, then we'll have a look at the lap times between these guys. Clemens heads through the double right-hander. Louis Requenco looking a little bit closer to these guys than he did on the previous lap. See what the times are. Hecker does a 2:07.9, Taylor 2:07.5, John Newell 2:08.1, 2:07.8 from Louis Requenco. So Taylor was the fastest out of the four of them. Requenco and Hecker were on very similar lap times, and John Newell actually losing, well, 0.6 of a second to Mark Taylor that time round. So seems like Mark is the one who switched it on that previous lap to try and get chasing. Steffi Halm still chasing as well. Her previous lap time was a 2:06.658, 2:06.678 from Antonio Albacete, so almost identical lap times. Both of them were 0.4 of a second quicker than Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, though. So maybe Jose Eduardo needs to start looking in his rearview mirror here in the Rebo Connaught truck racing team. We very often see his father Jose at the circuits with him as well, which is great to see. Jose competed with us for a number of years in this championship. And there is the top four in Chrome. Nicely, evenly spaced out at the minute. Looked like Louis Requenco had a little bit of a struggle there through Garage Vert. Managed to get it back on the circuit quickly enough, but it was definitely a moment, to say the least. We've had a penalty marker warning for John Newell come through, so he's had his first of the race. Nothing to do with the bodywork missing on the front right. That was from earlier on in the day. In the background there, you can see Stefan Faas and Bradley Smith right with each other. Luke Garrett is trying to fend off Simon Reed in the number 89. Some good battles going on here, but at the moment, a bit of a stalemate in a number of the positions. It's all about the drivers trading lap times and seeing who can crack or who will crack first under the pressure. Louis Requenco brilliantly won his first race in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship here last year. He's not quite on to do the same again here right now, but the important storyline is that Norbert Kish is only 2 laps away from becoming a record-breaking 7-time European Truck Racing champion. He's won 6 of them before, spread over a number of years. He first won in 2014 and 2015, and then after COVID back with Reveche Racing in 2021. He was with the Oxo Energy truck race team back then. It was Norbert Kish in 2014. I think it was 2015 the tank pool year. No, it was still the Oxo Energy truck race team at that point. He and Jochen Hahn traded a number of the different results that year. There's a great run of the championship victories, actually, all the way through. And while we have the 5-star drivers, let's not forget about the 3-star environmental accreditation that we have from the FIA here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. The series does a massive amount to be as carbon neutral as possible, and with the introduction of our 100% renewable HVO diesel, the series is taking a massive step forward in that. And with the electric tractor units, the hydrogen-powered tractor units, we have all sorts in regards to the bio-LNG pace truck and electric pace truck. It's a very sustainable racing series. But like I said, an amazing run of championships between Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish over the years. 2011, 12 and 13 was Jochen. Then Norby won it for 2 years in 14 and 15. Jochen again in 2016. Adam Lachko won the championship in 2017. Then it went back to Jochen Hahn for 2 years, 18 and 19, as he secured his 6th championship. And then obviously through the COVID pandemic, we had a couple of rounds in 2020, but it was not enough to be classified as an official FIA championship and give out a prize as a result. And then it began the Norby years, 2021 onwards, 22, 23, 24. And now he is just one more lap away from making that 5 in a row, the first driver in history to do so. Rod Chapman has 3 championships in European truck racing in the late 1980s. But nobody else has done it quite that many times, to say the least. It was wonderful to hear from the legendary Steve Parish last time out that Norby won this title. And we look forward to seeing Norby's celebration with the team. All he needs is to just complete one more lap and get the job done. So it is Norbert Kish leading Jochen Hahn. There he is with 1 lap to go, with the fantastic sign on the front of the machine as well. Jochen Hahn 2nd place there. Sasha Lenz just a couple more seconds back in 3rd position. Lovely work by our cameraman there to show you the top 3. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez next up ahead of Antonio Albacete, Steffi Helm, René Reinert. Clemens Hecker still leading in chrome and on for 8th position, importantly, which will put him on pole position for race number 4 a little bit later on. On to the final lap we go then. And here at Le Mans Bugatti, we are seeing a moment in truck racing history. Steffi Helm now chases Antonio Albacete up to the chicane. Can she mount one more attack in this race to try and get the position, or has Antonio secured that 5th position? Looks like Antonio is nice and comfortable. The three of them are getting closer and closer together all the time, though. Jose Eduardo isn't out of the woods. He's had a slower last couple of laps as Jose Eduardo. He's lost a couple of tenths. There is Jochen Hahn. And he's got just half a lap left to go. And I think from what we heard from Jochen yesterday, he subscribed himself to the fact that, you know, the battle is for second position in the championship between everybody else. Norby is that good, the team is that good, that it is hard to ever beat them. And the last couple of years have been a fantastic explanation and an example of what Revace Racing and the very talented Norbert Kish can do. And he's about to become the most successful driver in European truck racing history with this title. And we watch him now come round the final corners. Wherever you are watching this from in the world, please put your hands together. Norbert Kish wins the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and with it wins 7 titles in this championship. Norbert Kish, an absolutely exemplary driver with an amazing team behind him, makes history in truck racing. 7 championship titles. And what a way to do it as well, with another race 1 victory to start his day. Epic stuff. Absolutely epic. It's Jochen Hahn second, Sasha Lenz third, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez next up ahead of Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm. Rene Reinert will be 7th. Clemens Hecker takes a much-needed win in Chrome ahead of Mark Taylor. And John Newell continues a consistent run of podium positions in class. Louis Requenco was next ahead of Stefan Faas and Bradley Smith 13th. Luke Garrett finished ahead of Simon Reed and then Craig Reed, Stefan Kirsch and Christian Ruppert. Everybody finishing that. The most finishes we've had all year. But wow, what can you say about Norbert Kish? In the strangest way, he's made my job difficult over the last few years, as I very quickly ran out of words and ran out of superlatives to explain just how good Norby and this team are. You can hear him drifting away now as he celebrates 7 championship titles. And he takes another amazing victory. That's his 17th race win of the year. And the eagle-eyed of you would spot there that it's Norbert, not Nobert. Blame Patrick. But what a brilliant achievement this is. Absolutely amazing achievement by Norby and this team. They have worn that number 1 on the truck for a couple of years now with great pride in the fact that they are championship winners, and they've continued winning and winning and winning with no sign of them slowing down. And again, I highlight one of the best things about this championship is that nobody has seen this success and, you know, gone with torches and pitchforks and screamed witchcraft and, you know, cheating. They've all looked at it and gone, fair play. I wish we could be that good. And don't we all? They have been absolutely fantastic. And continue to be so as well. We still have 5 races left this year. But Norby clinches the championship, 89 points ahead of Jochen Hahn now, with 70 left on the table for the rest of the campaign. And he has done the job with just over 1 race meeting left to go. And a lovely race to do it in as well, where the whole field finish. And into the pit lane they come. And Norby will be greeted by everybody in this paddock to give him a big round of applause. He sounds the horn in pure joy, and rightly so. It's a very well-deserved achievement by Norbert Kish. And he will hop out of the truck to celebrate with the team. Sasha Lenz, another podium for him. Jochen Hahn, another podium for him as well. I'm sure he'll be one of the first to congratulate Norby. But there it is. 7 championship titles, the most titles of any driver in European truck racing, and of course in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And he is over the moon with it, as you can see. Brilliant scenes. Hurrah Norby, as they will be shouting well into the night. They still have another race left to go this afternoon, but the celebrations will begin slightly early now, and understandably so. Fantastic vibe down there, and a very hard-working team have put together a hell of a package. Csaba Bako there as well, chief engineer. Norby's lovely girlfriend Marty as well, always supportive at these meetings. A great photographer for the team as well. And what a squad he has behind him to make this achievement possible. You can see just how much it means to all of them. This now his 5th championship title on the bounce. And Stefan Honens wants to get a final word in as well, just to say well done. Stefan is a master truck builder. Fabien Calvé down there as well to congratulate him. And Sasha bows to Norby as well in great respect. You love to see it. Even Xavier Martin as well from Goodyear. Everybody in the queue to congratulate Norby. And it looks like Lena is ready to have a word with him in just a moment when he gets his helmet and everything off, to finally have a chat and let us know the feelings of becoming 7-time Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Champion.
Congratulations! We knew it, we kind of knew it. The smell was already in the sky of gold, so really, really good job, very tight job, very steady job. What was in your head when you had the last lap? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
first things first.
Yeah, you know, a lot of things. It's been a long time since I started truck racing, you know, 2011, and in the first couple of years, I said it sometimes already that in the first couple of years I was thinking that maybe we will never win this championship. But in the end, you know, we did win a few times, 1 or 2 times in the beginning, and then, you know, starting with thank you, starting with Revis Racing, you know, in 2020, and yeah, you know, big thank you to the team and Mr. Revis for making this possible, you know, because, I mean, there's not a lot of men in Hungary who would, you know, make a team like this, you know, so professional, you know, with so professional guys, building a racetrack like this, bringing the new racetrack, you know, in the beginning of the season, and then dominating the last few years like what we could do, I think is quite unique. And I'm really proud of the guys.
I think you're also, like, a lot of kids are looking up at you now, like, this is what I want to do one day. So I think you can be proud of yourself, of all your achievements, because it is rare. And speaking of achievements, we have a little video for you. You know, every year we choose a person who congratulates you.
Mindenkit, én Kapás Boglárka vagyok. Szia Norbi, és sziasztok, üdvözlök mindenkit. Én Kapás Boglárka vagyok, olimpiai bronzérmes és világbajnok úszó. És engem ért az a megtiszteltetés, hogy Norbi elsők között, vagy talán elsőként köszönhetlek téged, és gratulálhatok neked a 7. Európa-bajnoki győzelmedhez. Üdvözöllek a 7-szeres Európa-bajnokok klubjában. Tényleg nagyon-nagyon gratulálok, ez egy óriási dolog, és lehet, hogyha már 7-es szám, akkor arra számítottál, hogy a 7-szeres világbajnok Lewis Hamilton fog itt téged köszönteni, úgyhogy emiatt elnézést. A helyedben én biztos, hogy picit csalódott lennék emiatt, mert nekem ő a kedvencem, úgyhogy bocsi, ez csak én vagyok. De egyébként bennünk, hogyha ez számít, van még egy közös, mert úgy hallottam, hogy neked is 3 cicád van, és nekem is. Úgyhogy igen, még egyszer tényleg nagyon-nagyon gratulálok neked, és további sok sikert. Szia!
I'm a big fan of Boglárka, you know, so it's, yeah, thank you.
Yes, I think it's a very big honor. And she mentioned Lewis Hamilton, that it's not Lewis Hamilton, but maybe we will find him for the 8th title then next year. We're working on.
Yeah, for sure. I think we are not stopping. I think I have at least 10 good years in me, 10 more good years in me. So yeah, we will see. But yeah, you know, I think we can stop a bit now. You know, the pressure is off. And I think this is a moment to be proud, you know. Yeah, like I said, the team, and also, yeah, my career, you know, coming from the simulator.
It's time to celebrate.
Yeah, you know, coming from the, you know, my family, and to build a career like this, and then, you know, to reach an all-time high in track racing like this is. Yeah, I am really proud.
Yeah, you can be proud, and I think it's time to send him to the podium because it's time for another first place trophy. The big one, of course, will come later on, but what a race this has been for him. You can tell he's still like in his own like thoughts. I think it's very touching for a sports person reaching such high goals. So we have a lot of like little moments that he had, that he went through as a winner this year. So see for yourself. And Chess, back to you.
Thank you very much, Lena. And here is a look then at some of the finest moments.
Race win of the weekend and his 3rd race win of the season. Great stuff in Baloo Junior.
Fantastic achievements by Norbert Kiss and Reveish Racing. Absolutely epic to see them secure that victory. In 2024, he won 19 races, and so far this year, he has won 17. He's hoping to make that 19 at least this year. And big congratulations to him and the team for securing the 7th title with this latest race victory. This one will feel very good indeed. He's joined by 2 absolute superstars of the sport as well, of course, Sascha Lenz and Jochen Hahn on the podium. And we should now have the Hungarian national anthem for our race winner and 7-time champion, Norbert Kiss. And there you go, the Hungarian national anthem for Norbert Kiss and Reveish Racing. They'll be over the moon. As you can see, the excitement is flooding out of him right now in this moment. Handing out the trophies here, we have Marc-Antoine Scoyans from Yoast France. He is the product manager of Yoast France, and he hands out the trophies to Sascha Lenz, Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kiss in this first race of the day, the 3rd race of the weekend. And here is the race-winning trophy now being handed to Norby. And this epic achievement highlighted by another trophy to add to the cabinet. And like I've said with a few other drivers that we've had multiple successes from in the championship, It is very much the case that they probably have warehouses for the trophies now, and not just your everyday trophy cabinets. Hungarian colours wave in the pit lane, and the drivers unite on the top step for some more pictures. And then we will take a look at the championship standings in just a moment, before we then head on to the Chrome Championship podium. A quick change of the caps for the pictures. And Richard Kienberger gets behind the shutter and snaps away some lovely pictures, as he so often does. The guys will now celebrate with a spray of champagne, and Norby will be so pleased with that. The fan down there getting absolutely soaked. I don't know if that was a fan or a member of his team or what, but brilliant. Great stuff. And they still soak him because he's got some other overalls left. That is brilliant. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Usually it's race 2 and 4 when they get soaked, but a massive hug from Norby to Sasha to soak them back in return. Great fun. Lovely scenes. At the end of the day, when it's the race where you've won your 7th title, you definitely want to celebrate with the champagne. They don't want to leave that until later. Here are the championship standings then. 366 points now to Norbert Kish. He is 89 points clear of Jochen Hahn, and that is more than enough to secure the title. Sasha Lenz moves back into 3rd place now, ahead of Steffi Halm, who is on 191. Antonio Albacete still fighting with Rene Reiner over 5th position, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez closing in bit by bit. Mark Taylor is 8th now on 51 points ahead of Clemens Hecker and Bradley Smith, who completes the top 10 places. We then have Lucas Hahn in 11th, John Newell in 12th, with Stefan Faas 13th, Louis Requenco 14th, Luke Garrett 15th, and Andre and Kirsch complete the order. Now we'll move on to the Chrome podium. John Newell heading up there. He's 3rd in this race, but it is his 14th podium appearance this season, and he remains 2nd in the Chrome Championship, just 6 points behind Bradley Smith. Clemens Hecker is 7 points behind, and Mark Taylor just there is 8 points behind. 4 drivers separated by just 8 points, with 60 left up for grabs at Jarama, and another 10 here this afternoon still to grab at Le Mans. These guys are having a great time fighting one another this season. It can go any which way every single time they take to the racetrack, and it is a joy to watch. Once again, trophies presented by Yost. John Newell pleased with some more silverware. He's had all podium finishes so far this weekend, and funnily enough, he's been on each step of the podium. 2nd, 1st, then 3rd. He's on a run of 5 podiums in a row at the moment. No other driver has managed that. Clemens Hecker takes another victory in class. That's his 7th of the year. He's won the most races in Chrome so far in 2025, and it shows with a strong contention in the championship. Will do. And there, the German national anthem for Clemens Hecker. Like I've said, he's taken the most victories this season in the Chrome class. He's got 7. Mark Taylor's got 6. But Bradley Smith, who leads the Chrome Championship, only has 3, with John Newell having 2. Yet both of them are 1st and 2nd, with a lot more consistency in podiums. But you could say, if it wasn't for DNFs this season, Mark Taylor and Clemens Hecker would be definitely the 2 fighting for the top of it. Bradley Smith and John Newell have not had a DNF, either of them, all season. And the guys spray the champagne from the top 3 steps. I imagine saving a little bit of it still for later. And a good cheers from one another. And they make their way off the podium now. and they will go and prepare for the race later on this afternoon. So Bradley Smith now is only 6 points ahead of John Newell, who is only 1 point ahead of Hecker, 1 point ahead of Taylor. It's incredibly close. Then it's Rykwenko, Garrett, Fass, Andre, Kirsch, and Hahn completing the top 10 positions on 60 points after his maximum at the Nürburgring. Then it's Christian Ruppert, Martin Matzik, Simon Reed, and Craig Reed still scoring points here this weekend. Let's have a quick look back then at the highlights of that race, of course, and see how it all shaped out and how we awarded Norbert Kish with his 7th championship title. Casino even giving him the thumbs up there as he makes his way to the grid to start on pole position with Jochen Hahn alongside him. Second row of the grid was Sasha Lenz and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and they had a great scrap down towards the very first couple of corners. Louis Rykwenko had a really good start, but unfortunately after cutting the chicane, he just lost position after position, eventually settling down in 4th place in the Chrome class, while everybody else tried to scramble for positions in the midfield. Luke Garrett and Stefan Fass had a good fight. In the end, it would be the German that would get ahead. Same with Bradley Smith as well, gaining places to move up to 6th place in Chrome. Steffi Halm was chasing down Antonio Albacete, with René Reinert waiting in the wings, albeit off the circuit at certain points. And Clemens Hecker had made his way to the front of the Chrome class ahead of Mark Taylor and John Newell. But at the front, it was Norbert Kish from Jochen Hahn and Sasha Lenz, and Norby would get his 7th championship title. An incredible achievement, and we'll hand back down to Lena now to get some more reactions from in the paddock and in the pit lane.
And of course, we have to speak to the team of Rubbish Racing, because it's not only Norbert, you also became the 7th time European champion, exactly, so I think it's a big celebration. Mr. Hecker just walked by and sprayed us with champagne, so we already both have the smell of fame on our bodies, but there's one more race to come. But I think for you, it's time to release the pressure now, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, it's a huge relief that we secured the title, but I can reassure everyone that we will fight like hell still, just for the sake of winning, so we will not settle down. The stress is down, of course, but we will do our job still.
Yeah, you do a very tight, very steady job all the time. Norbert also always mentions the teamwork, which of course is important in the sport. But when you started out working together, were you like, oh, we will win every year again and again? Like, when was the first year when you were like, oh, this really could be a good one for the next?
You know, it's a really good question you asked. The first title we won in 2014 here in Le Mans, so like 11 years ago. It feels like a huge time. And just like 1 year before that, we were talking that, okay, we will never ever win it. It's so complicated. We are so far away. You know, from Jochen, he was dominating that day. We felt like we will never ever win it. So it was really a huge honor that we can be here, winning 7 times in 12 years. So Le Mans will always have a special place in our heart, because, you know, we win a lot of titles here. So yeah, really an honor to be here.
I think so. And if you happen to win 10 times, I will come with my tattoo machine and give everyone a little Bugatti race.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. You have done your work. Now go celebrate a little bit, and I'll see you for reverse grid later on. Thank you so much. 4:20 it is, and reverse grid always means super exciting racing. So I see you in a bit. Thank you so much.